another video. I mentioned that I would not put out another one unless it was something I considered a little more important than normal. And here it is. Jeffrey Mishlove from his YouTube channel, New Thinking Aloud, has teamed up with Waking Universe Films, who is owned by Lance. Is it Mungia? I think Lance also did Third Eye Spies, I think, the documentary of that. This one is going to be based off the book 20 years ago, The PK Man, that Jeffrey put out. Jeffrey did his PhD work on researching a gentleman named Ted Owens. Ted Owens called himself the PK Man, PK for psychokinesis, and this is more of a macro kind of psychokinesis, large scale things. And so they're in the works of crowdfunding to get this full length documentary film made as PK Man, the mind that could control reality. I have donated to this in the crowdfunding. If you wish to take a look at it, I'll put a link below for kind of a little trailer or teaser, what they're doing. And so I will link to that crowdfunder site below. And if you feel so inclined, please help to get this off the ground and moving. It's off the ground already. But any donations would really help to meet this goal, to get this film produced. And for me, this film is important because I've mentioned in past videos how I feel like I'm like Ted Owens with this macro PK and things happening that I can't explain, that they really happen. My hope is that if this gets put out there and enough people will see it, maybe there'll just be a little less ridiculing people like Ted Owens or me. I do still get ridiculed once some of these larger scale things happen, and it's so unbelievable. Even people that go with it are in the woo-woo field with, like, say, the newest thing out there is the telepathy tapes. People are just starting to come to grips with that, yeah, this stuff is kind of real. It really is real. But once you go beyond that into large scale systems and affecting big things, even those people can't deal with it, cannot handle some of it. I couldn't handle a lot of it myself for most of my life. Still, it's hard to, almost believe it yourself, even though it happens every day. It's constant. But if there's just a little less ridicule for these types of people, that's perfect. I will put money toward that. So I did. And hopefully this full-length documentary, PK Man, the mind that could control reality, gets published. And again, the crowdfunding link is below. That's the main purpose of this. Now, if just what I'm talking about is similarities between me and Ted Owens, things that have happened and continue to happen. This is just this past week. Just this past week, we just had our house re-roofed, and it was pretty much instant. Got an estimate on it, gave the go-ahead one afternoon. The next day they started at 8 a.m. but there's rain coming in the next day, early afternoon. It's like they're not going to get done in time. And I told my wife, well, I'll just push the rain back from when it's scheduled to start. It worked. It got pushed back and got pushed back. So they finished the roof that day, cleaned up all the nails around and made it look really nice and clean, and left in 30 minutes after it's done and they're gone. It starts raining. So that's just typical. That's just normal and could very well be coincidences. But the rain, per all the radars and everything, is supposed to start at one time and then it got pushed back a couple hours, really. So it got pushed back just enough. Worked great. And that's not the only thing. I've talked about luck in the past with me and being really good and lucky. And it's come in very handy lately. Starting way back in February, decided to start taking my mother to a new primary care physician in a hospital here locally. And she's had a lot of issues for the past 3 months, not being able to swallow. She has a particular condition, achalasia, where the food tube constricts and she can't really swallow. So she's been drinking protein drinks, losing about 10 pounds a month. I lost about 30 pounds and was really unsteady on her feet, couldn't really walk well. So it's like, I need to really help out here. So got her started on that. We've done a lot of medical appointments, but talking about the luck thing, getting into seeing that doctor and almost the same day getting her on insulin. She had to start insulin. Her blood sugar was out of control. Within that month, God, about 8 different medical meetings and things done, including, you know, scans, ultrasounds on her legs, and seeing a foot doctor for neuropathy in her feet, getting diabetic shoes ordered, and getting a CT scan on her brain because she had a fall. And we got referred to a GI tract person because mom couldn't swallow. Specialist here in this town I'm in. We went to that appointment and it was canceled. We didn't know. We got no notice that it had been canceled, and we're standing there. It's an afternoon one day. It's like, we need to get this done. She said the only person is in a bigger town further away. So I said, okay, well, I need to make an appointment. What's that phone number? So she gave it to me, and I called him that afternoon and said, I need to make an appointment. They're like, we've got an opening tomorrow at 8 a.m., the very first person, 8 a.m. I'm like, heck yeah. So before daylight, we left because it's going to take that long of a drive to get there, and arrived, after the sun's up, and got in to see the doctor. And even the doctor's like, who are you? What are you doing here? It's like, well, we made an appointment to see you, and we're here at our appointment time. He's like, I didn't see you on his schedule. It's like, this is a total shock to him, this specialist, GI doctor. And he was just shocked. He's like, I have a 3-month waiting list. How did you even get here? It's just luck. That's what I'm talking about, luck. Just really lucky on different things. It was lucky we got there. And then a whole other luck factors kicked in that same day to where he scheduled some stuff, and we got an x-ray on her chest that day because of a fall. We got some blood work done, and we also did preoperative procedures for a pre-op that was going to happen the next morning from that. So scheduled to make the appointment one afternoon, got it first thing morning, next 8 a.m., got all kind of things scheduled and taken care of that same day. The next day, she had the procedure at the hospital that they put a thing down and did a balloon in her food tube there and expanded it out, and she can swallow now. And that's really, really good. She can actually eat. But all within just like bam, bam, bam. And he had a 3-month backlog of patients to see. And this has happened instantly. No wait. Same thing happened while getting the x-rays and the blood test. We walked into the room, and it's filled. The hallway's filled with people. And we're the first ones called. We just walked straight in, sat down. Within 1 minute, in front of everybody, we're called back and done. That happened repeatedly on every visit. There's a whole room of people. This just happened again. What was it, day before yesterday? A few days ago? This week, room full of people, waiting room. When mom's getting her CT head scan, and full waiting room, we walk in, and we're the first people called. It's just right back and done, and we're gone. So it's been going like that. Everything's been really smooth, really working out lucky. Even going to this latest trip to Shreveport, she drank some barium so they could see how that throat opening thing worked. And I made a mental note driving to that town. Normally, getting out of our house, trying to make it to the interstate, getting off the interstate to do the roads into the hospital, we figure about an hour, 45 minutes. That's what it's always been. That's what everybody gauges it for. And I noticed during the drive, it's a strong headwind, really strong headwind, that the sun was coming up really fast. It seemed to be coming up faster than normal. We've done this drive a lot. This is common to go to that bigger town for different things. And so you start out at night, and you get there at daylight after the sun's up. And the sun came up really fast, I noticed, while driving. I did not speed. I was actually going below the speed limit because it was such a hard headwind. It's like, geez, feels like my hood's going to rip off. Strong headwind. It's like the sun's coming up a lot faster than normal. It's kind of weird. And when we got to the hospital, somehow we had shaved 30 minutes off the time. We got there 30 minutes early. I don't know if time warped or what, but we gained 30 minutes somehow. And I did not speed. I was going below the speed limit most of the time. And we got to the hospital an hour early. I like getting there early, 30 minutes early, to find a place to park just in case. So 15 minutes early for parking. There's a lot of construction there. So I give myself half an hour to make sure we get there on time and we're not late. So I expected to be there half an hour early. No, we were there an hour early. Somehow me and mom were just like, how did we get here? What are we doing here an hour early? How did this happen? We still don't know how it happened. But I did make a mental note on the drive that the sun came up really fast for some reason. And I noted that during the drive. And when we arrived at the hospital, it's like, how did we get here so fast? This was so weird. Things like that are pretty normal. So a lot of people don't believe this stuff with different things with time around me and moving brain around, things like that. It does sound fantastical and possibly arrogant or whatever you want to call it. But some of the bigger things that have happened in my life still get ridiculed. So I'm hoping that this film will come out and maybe open some other people's eyes up that some of this macro PK stuff really does happen. It really does happen. And there are people out there like this, and maybe it'll lead to a little less ridicule for some people. Thanks, and I really do hope you have a great day.